Hey, it's Demir from Lifehack Method. I'm just wondering if you ever thought to yourself, geez, it seems like there's a lot of productivity stuff that I should have learned in school, but I don't think that I ever did. Well, today I'm going to be sharing the top productivity skills that you never learned in school, but you should have. Now, to make sure you never miss out on these short videos that answer all of your burning productivity questions, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Productivity skill number 1, planning your week. How to plan your week. Gang, we all get 168 hours a week. That's it. Can't rent more, can't make more, can't sell more, nothing. That's it for everybody. So your most important productivity skill, the grandmama skill that gives birth to all other skills, is learning to plan your week effectively. Now, weirdly, if you've read my book or you're part of my tribe, you know that nobody knows this. We're never taught in high school and college or our first job how to plan our week. And what we find is that people either think they are but aren't doing it right, or they try to and they get stuck in endless loops. I always hear people saying, Demir, it took me 3 hours to plan my week and I didn't even finish. I just collapsed from exhaustion. Yeah, you never learned how to plan your week effectively and fast. Gang, this is something that we teach every single person. There's a link below where you can join my masterclass where I show you how to plan your week. And you can join Lifehack Tribe where we actually take you through it every single week as a group. I'm there, my whole community's there. We do it together every Friday. Number 2 skill that you should have learned in school is how to use timed work blocks. Parkinson's law dictates that time will expand or contract based on the amount of time we give it. So when you tell yourself, I've only got 30 minutes to do this, let's see how much I can get done, you are going to work miracles inside of that 30 minutes. On the other hand, if you don't give yourself any limits, if you don't block it out, if you don't time yourself, it's going to sound a little bit like, oh my God, that 1 hour task just took me 10 hours to get done. How did that happen? Again, we teach people something called the sticky focus game. I'm going to put a link to that below so you can banish this and finally learn this skill the right way. Number 3, we never learn how to manage our communications. Right now, we live with an expectation that if somebody sends us an email, that we need to send it back, or anybody can reach out to us at any point. And there's no way that we can set boundaries because then we'd be rude. Oh, Demir, I couldn't possibly say no to that person. I can't possibly tell them that I don't take emails after 5 at night. What will they think of me? Gang, let me blow your mind real quick. You get to tell people how they can communicate with you and the best way that you'll communicate back with them. That's on you. That's your boundary to set. We call that lightly a communication policy. If you've never heard of that, that's exactly why I'm bringing it up, because nobody gets taught how to build a communication policy and how to do it in a way where you're not perceived as rude, but actually perceived as higher value. If that sounds interesting to you, check out chapter 11 of our new book, Winning the Week. We do an entire chapter just on building communication policies. Number 4, we also don't learn how to say no. That sort of goes into the last one. Somebody asks you to do something and you just feel like you desperately want to say yes, so you do, even though in truth you don't have time. Gang, it's a real skill to be able to say no in a way where you can preserve that social capital that you have with somebody. Let's do some role play. Somebody walks into your office and says, hey, Demir, you got a second? You could say, no, get out of here. Okay, that's one way to handle it. Or you could say, hey, in truth, I'm on a deadline right now. Is this something that could wait? Or maybe could you send me a screencast or an email? So you said no, but you gave him a reason and you gave him an alternative. Listen, I've heard every excuse on the sun, but I can't say no to my boss. I can't say no to my husband. I can't say no to my kids. We did an entire chapter in our new book, Winning the Week, about how to say no in a way that actually makes people feel honored and reinforces to them that you love them and you want to help them, but in this explicit case, you actually can't. That includes bosses, that includes spouses, that includes kids. So check that part of the book out. Number 5. The whole concept of leverage. Let me tell you, when I learned about leverage, it was like mind-blowing. I feel like I was on psychedelics, like I discovered a whole new world, because the entire world is this linear getting things done perspective. Just get it all done. You've got a to-do list, 50 tasks, let's get it all done. When I read The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, and they introduced me to the concept of leverage, meaning out of those 50 tasks, what's the task that makes all other 49 easier or unnecessary? It's like, It absolutely blows your mind. Now, it can be easy to understand it conceptually, but really hard to put it to work in your life. That's again something that we help people with in the Lifehack Tribe. We build life maps with you. We actually identify your leverage points. We look in your entire to-do list and we pick out those individual tasks and projects that aren't just tasks and projects. They're actually leverage points in disguise, and they make everything else in your life so much easier. If you want a deep dive on leverage, check out the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. Number 6, we don't teach people how to influence without authority. Gang, the thing that surprised me the most when I started working with big bosses, I'm talking about CEOs, C-suite, business owners. I always thought if you're the big boss, you just push people around. Imagine how surprised I was to realize that they're terrified of the people beneath them. I can't tell you how many clients I've heard say, Demir, what if I order them to do something and they don't do it? Or, I ordered them to do something and they just didn't do it. What do I do now? What I'm trying to say is that everybody has the influence without authority, even big bosses. You want to know how to do it? It's super simple. All you have to do is figure out what's in it for them. We're so wrapped up, especially in this stressful, anxious world that we live in, we're just so wrapped up in ourselves. Like, what do I get out of it? It just takes a moment of presence to step away from your self-centered perspective and actually ask yourself, why would this person want to do it for their own reasons? And how can I twist it a little bit into a pretzel to show them that, hey, this isn't just something that benefits me, it actually benefits you as well. Quick story. One of my clients, Tim, had an office with 15 admins, and he just couldn't get these people to record SOPs, meaning standard operating procedures. He just wanted them to do a task, but also record themselves doing the task so that he could see what they were doing, but they consistently wouldn't do it. He came to me and said, "This is disrespectful. I can't believe they're doing this. They really should do this. I should fire somebody." And I said, "Tim, why don't we just convince them that they get a payoff too?" "Well, what kind of payoff?" "Well, what about the fact that if they want to go on vacation, if they've documented all their SOPs, that means that you don't have to call them and bother them on vacation. It means that somebody else can simply look up the SOP and do their job." Lo and behold, when he offered that to them as a guarantee, hey, you can take 2-week vacations now and nobody will bother them, all of a sudden everybody was on board. It just took a second to step away. Number 7, using accountability to reach your goals faster. I don't think there's a more misunderstood thing than accountability. We treat it like salt. Oh, sprinkle some salt on it, sprinkle some accountability, everything with accountability on it. Gang, accountability is not extrinsic motivation. It's not somebody putting a gun to your head and saying, if you don't write that great book that's inside of you, by golly, I will shoot you. That's what we sort of secretly hope accountability is. Real accountability, 4-layered accountability, is when you're surrounded with a supportive environment, almost wrapped up like a burrito, with a coach, a buddy, a team, public accountability in such a way as the intrinsic desire to do it rises up from within you. This is something I teach a lot about in the Lifehack Tribe, and also we show it in Tribe, because in Tribe, we've got those 4 layers of accountability threaded together and wrapped around people, and they can actually see that we're not forcing them to be more productive. They actually want to be more productive, and it feels mysteriously easier to be more productive when they're in a group like Lifehack Tribe. And finally, we're not taught emotional intelligence and just simply managing our mental state. Gang, we're not robots. It's not like we're execute on productivity protocol number 6. We don't execute programs in our mind. We're emotional beings. Every day that we bring ourselves to our work, we're a little bit different that day. We might feel lower energy, higher energy, sad, happy, avoidance, all different types of churning states. And we have to be able to meet every single one of those states. And it requires a very large toolbox of mental game tools to be able to say, okay, this is the tool that really helps me manage this particular mental state in this moment. Again, this is something we teach every single one of our clients in Lifehack Tribe, because that toolbox is critical. But we don't have a corner on the market. There's so many great books, personal development workshops that can help you meet yourself in every single moment, hold space for whatever you're feeling, and yet still work through it, still get the job done. Gang, I hope you got some value out of this video. If there's anything that I would want, is I want you to learn these skills, but also I want you to pass it on to the next generation, because it is absurd that we haven't learned these things in school, not in high school, not in college, not in university. So let's learn these ourselves, but then also let's pass it on so that the next generation is dealing with much higher class problems than we are. All right, folks, thanks for watching. As always, I will see you next time.